this is going to be where we start to work on the actual gameplay of this game. Every time when I come back to working on a game, I like to mess around with it just to see where I left off, and often it gives me ideas of what to do next. So the things I want to do next is make it so that these stars will actually respawn on the other side of the screen instead of just sitting there in one random square, and I also want to make this bar functional. So first, let's do the stars. Where is on step? On step is right here. We can label this the movement section because that's what it is. And then the star section because this is where the stars are going to be programmed. So now these stars should respawn on the other side of the screen. That seems to be working. Alright, now let's do the fuel bar. This object is fuel bar. That's handy. So this is going to set it so that for each tank, the fuel bar will increase a little bit more. It will recharge faster. I might also set it so that having more tanks means you can store more fuel. Gonna make each one lose 30. 290. So now if we have no tanks, it goes up very slowly. That might actually be too slow. I don't want it to be too fast either. Alright. If we have all the tanks, it's already there. That's because this is supposed to be at a specific frame rate. Let's make it so that if the menu is visible, then it will not calibrate any of those or calculate any of those. Now, once we have all the tanks, alright, that looks good. Now I need to make it so that each engine will take some of that fuel. So I'm gonna make it so that I want it so that if there's not enough fuel for both engines, then neither engine will fire, because then that will make the ship uncontrollably go off to one side. To make it take fuel. If I go fast enough, I guess it kind of breaks the stars. I want to make sure that even if with all three tanks, the engines will still deplete your fuel reserves. And they are not. Which means the tanks are giving too much fuel. The engines might not be taking enough. I want the player to be thinking about when they want to use their fuel rather than just being able to hold down the trigger the whole time. That is still not taking enough. Oh. So I'll make this take a little bit more. this value. Oh, I did the wrong one. That might be why it wasn't taking enough fuel. There we go. That looks more like I want it to. I want to make it so that if the tanks don't have enough fuel in them, then neither engine will activate. But it'll only check this if the second engine is being used, otherwise it'll only consider the first engine. If there's not fuel for that, then it's fine. So let's take this. And it's going to undo what the first engine did. Let's make this very spread out. That way we can tell the engines is activating when it shouldn't. Alright, this seems like the engines are activating simply because there's enough being generated to keep them going just a little bit. Alright, now, now that the fuel bar is working, and we have stars in the background, might be time to start doing some effects. The first effect I want to do is to have the engines actually glow like they're being activated. So, I'm going to put them in front of the stars, but behind the map. I guess I should put them in front of the map because that's where the stars are. But behind the UI still. So jet A is going to be a group of maybe a few ovals. Let's see. Let's just put them in the center of the screen just so we can see what it looks like to begin with. Right, there's a one. Let's actually restart this and just do it with a function. oval. Make that oval 100, 200. Make it get a little bit higher up. We're gonna go a little bit lower on here. Just slightly. Then cube times 3. Then the fill will be just start that from 1. Make that go up to 10. And then do that with that. And then 255 minus q times 5. 255 minus q times 6. And then 200 minus q times 5. I don't think we have enough parentheses here. That's 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3. We do not have enough. Alright. I forgot to make the q actually count up. So it is an infinite loop. Don't need that. Get rid of that. Now let's go. That looks horrible. But I know why. I forgot to set the opacity to something low, like 2. That might be a little bit too dark. That's a little bit more. Yeah, that's the right shape. Let's make this so it's a little more detailed. It isn't quite looking like I want it to. Set this up to 50. And then to compensate, we'll make it go down even faster. Well, that may be a little bit too fast. If you can't do that, so I'll just go to 20. Oops. That is looking better. For now, let's try making it just go bigger. It actually seems to match the engine size. Alright. Now, we do the same thing for a second jet that will be used, the second engine. So when the player leaves the menu, rocket B is used, then the jet B, center X equals rocket BW dot center X, and jet B dot center Y will be the same as rocket BW's dot center Y plus 10. And we will do the same rocket A. That doesn't look right. I don't think the weight is right here. Or is it because it has not been moved yet? That is why. So I need to do those later after they're moved. It'll just throw jet B off the page where the player cannot see it. Now, the engine. Engines, it should. Alright, that is looking correct. I just need to move them down a bit. Alright, the jets are where I want them. Now I just need to animate those jets. So this is going to make it so it will slightly dim down. I'm going to make it actually so that it won't go over. Opacity. Opacity times equals 9. And do the same for jet B. Alright, that is looking good. Reduce that so they don't flare up like that. Alright. Now, when player activates the engines, they will start to glow. I want to figure out how to do this without being able to reset them they aren't being able to activate. Or I could just do it right here. Alright. Jet A opacity plus equal, hold on. That opacity is this 20. Jet A dot opacity plus equal. That way I can reset it if the fuel is not enough. And then jet A is greater than 1. And reduce it. Perfect. Now, once I attach the engine, they should glow again. Make it so that they might glow a little bit more occasionally. And they dim, of course. Alright, let's let this charge a little bit, and then we can see what they look like. Actually, it would just run it again so we have more tanks. And they'll recharge faster anyways. Let's see what they look like when they're fully exerted. I might make it so that it adjusts the width and height of these jets as well. As you can see, the player will be able to get to some pretty incredible speeds, but I'm going to make it so that while the player can, they probably shouldn't. Possibly by surrounding the ring with a asteroid field. I did figure out what I want to do the track with, and it's just going to be a big asteroid. The player will lap this asteroid as fast as possible, and that will be the game's objective. And since I still want to show off how I can do a randomly generated map, I'm going to make it surrounded with a randomly generated asteroid field that will discourage the player from getting too far from the track. That is an interesting visual effect. This will make it so that the jets. Oop, that's not what I wanted. This way is that the jets will change their opacity based on, will change their width based on the opacity. A little bit of randomness. So they look more like roaring fires that you would expect from an engine. Jet height. So it could be a little bit longer. I realized my mic has not been on this whole time. So let's make our little pod racer again. And now I fixed that problem that it looks like it's leaving the engine. But these flames are not looking wide enough. Let's give this a base width a little bit bigger. And we are going overtime, but since I will not be able to upload one of these videos next week, I am okay with that. So let's let these engines charge a bit so that we can take off, or I could just make the fuel start with more in it. All right. Those engines are looking how I want them to. I might add a secondary effect later on to make them look a little bit more intense, but for now, that is looking good for what I want it to be. I always feel like I am doing barely anything in these videos, and I realize why, and it's because usually I am just sitting down for a long period of time and doing it, but here I want to do it a little bit at a time. That way I have more time to think about what I want to do rather than having to stop and think during one of these recordings because it would look kind of weird if everything went silent and didn't move for a few minutes while I thought of what to do next. But for now, that is it. Thank you for watching.